Business where we get together every Monday, actually twice. You get to see me if thou so chooses to. I go live at 4:30 Mountain Standard Time. And then I also go live again at 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. And so why do I do that twice? Well, I am absolutely all about giving you as much as I possibly can for you finding your amazing potential, you finding your amazing soul self again. And so I do that through, the only way that I know how to do that. And that is literally just giving you all these beautiful resources. So I'm going to give you a second to hop on here. And I am posting just all of this amazing stuff that you can subscribe to if you would like. As you can see, if you subscribe to my YouTube channel, make a little comment on any of my videos, share one of my videos, and then tag me that you did, I will enter you to win. So I have a bunch of good swag coming and I'm going to be giving it away. And I just want to make sure that I have it in my little hands first, just in case. But it's on its way and it's from local company that's only down the road. So I expect to have it by tomorrow. And then I will start advertising to give away something once a week. So you can get some of my delicious goodies from Nature's Sunshine. You might get a pair of my fantastic socks, not socks that I'm like actually wearing or that I've worn, not used socks, but like new socks. And lots of just cool stuff like that. So YouTube channel is the place to be just because everything is recorded and it's easy to find. I post so many memes that it's easy for the videos to get lost. So if you just need a little pick me up, a little recharge, that's the place to hop on. I do have another Facebook group called Feeling Lost, Get Your Balance Back, Mind, Body, Soul. That is my spot to go if you're like really getting intrigued in energy work. So I kind of have my stuff set up. It's like a really cool little blossoming effect. So basically on a sassy mama, that's my sarcasm. That's my like, I'm love light and give everyone beauty. But at the same time, I really just dislike people. It's kind of that. It's me embracing and loving my, I don't know what you want to call it, my multiple personality disorder. I really do. I love everyone, but everyone irritates me equally. So that's what Honest Sassy Mom is about. And then I have Blocked Emotions Energy Healing. That's my Facebook page. That's for my business. And then I have my Facebook group that has lots of freebie, delicious stuff. Then if you want to take it to the next level and say, you're like, wow, I love what you do. Like, I have a purpose, I have a passion. It's not really getting met by whatever I'm trying to do currently. And I know that there's so much more. And your stuff that you're doing with energy work is really like ringing a bell for me. Then I do offer a practitioner program where I'll teach you how to do everything I do and you can become certified in basically bringing people joy again, which is so cool. So today, though, for this Monday Soul Deliciousness, we are going to talk about why can't I change? Because hello, raise your hand. Does that ever happen? Why can I not change? And so I'm on Amazon the other day, lo and behold, and I'm adding all this stuff to my cart and I go to checkout and it's obviously getting close. Well, not obviously. For those of you that are watching live, obviously, it's getting close to, if you're in the US, for Christmas for us. And so what do you think my number one thing that I'm paying attention to is, when will this ship? Right? I'm looking at it. When will this ship? But I would say I do that all the time anyways. And I am not one of these people that subscribes to Amazon Prime, although if I do need something quickly, I just log into Dave's account and do it. But Dave and I have separate Amazon accounts. That's for keeping marriages safe. I don't need to know what he's buying, and he certainly doesn't have any interest in what I'm buying. So I'm on Amazon. I'm adding things to my cart. I can see how quickly each one of them will ship, right? So, 2, 3 days. But if I run across something that's not going to get here for, I don't know, I'm going to say probably my limit is about a week. If it's over a week, I'm starting to get a little hesitant. If it is more than 4 weeks, I'm going to delete it from my cart and probably find it somewhere else or do without it. Because why? I don't want to wait that long. People are into instant gratification. If I have to wait that long, then I'm probably just not going to buy it. Or I'm going to find something else, or, I've already lived without it this long, then I'm just going to click away. So that's what I want you to focus on. Instant gratification. It's become a necessity for all of us. I don't go and get my hair colored. Well, I don't go get my hair colored anyways, because I just purchase plant-based hair coloring and do it myself. I can't spend that kind of money on my hair. But if I were using a hair color or I went to get my hair done and I didn't see the color change for like 3 days after, then I wouldn't do it, right? Because I want to walk out of the salon and I want my hair to be red or blue or pink or whatever floats your boat. So I'm not going to wait. I don't want the diet pill that I take and it takes 30 days before I'll lose a half a pound, right? No diet pills advertise that, hey, take this for 30 days and you're going to lose an ounce at the end of 30 days, because people want the gratification right now. I don't want to lose a pound in 30 months from now, or I'm not going to do it, right? If I say that, hey, join my keto group, I promise you'll lose a pound in the next 30 months. You're not going to join it, because I want to be more of something, or I want something to happen. And I start to take the steps to do it, but then I want to get that same gratification. I want to get that same result. So if I'm like, oh, I'm going to start exercising. I'm going to start doing yoga. I'm going to start doing meditation, journaling, sleeping. I'm going to start doing something. Maybe with the exception of sleeping, because that one sometimes can have a really dramatic effect. But let's say that I do. Let's look at sleeping. Maybe I need to change my sleeping pattern. So let's say for like 3 nights, I'm really working on going to bed earlier. But it's difficult, right? Because that's not my habit. So I might lay in bed and toss and turn. And then what's going to happen? I'm going to get aggravated because I'm not getting instant gratification. I'm not just laying in bed, falling asleep. Suddenly I feel so much better because I'm getting a good night's rest. I mean, if you're lucky, that works for you. But like, I know coming off of Thanksgiving vacation, where my child, who is 6, loves to have campouts on the couch with his dad, which I think is cute. And, I mean, I guess it would have been cool if my dad would have had campouts on the couch with me when I was a kid, but he definitely didn't. And I probably don't have a good relationship with my dad, so that actually doesn't sound very fun. But for Tayson, it is. It's like a circus. Like, they love it. They have campouts on the couch. Tayson has all of his snacks. They watch YouTube and play Xbox, and it's super fun. But he doesn't go to bed at the time that he would have when he's in school. So on Saturday night, I was like, hey, let's try to go to bed a little bit earlier than the last 2 nights where I'm not even sure what time anybody went to bed, right? So we kind of get back into it. But last night when he went to go to bed, I could hear him, and he was like tossing and turning a lot because he wasn't able to fall asleep because he'd been staying up. So getting ourselves out of a habit, out of a ritual is so quick, but trying to get ourselves back into something that takes some self-control, some motivation, can be really hard. And so what happens? We don't get that instant gratification. I don't see that my hair is blue immediately after washing out my hair coloring. And so I'm like, I don't want to do it anymore. If I don't see that I'm going to instantly get it shipped from Amazon and it's going to be here tomorrow, then I might not want to order it because I want it now. I have a friend that doesn't even shop online because she needs that instant gratification of, I'm going to take it now. This time of the year, we have tons of craft shows where you can go, like holiday bazaars, whatever you want to call it. So you can go and buy stuff from the holiday bazaar or the craft show. If I go and I see something that I really, really want, and they're like, oh, I don't have that here, you have to order it, or I can meet with you and you can pick it up in a couple of days. What do you think I do? I'm like, oh, yeah, oh, the bracelet, oh, it's not as cute as maybe I don't really want it, right? It's that instant. If I can't buy it and take it with me today, then I'm probably not going to buy it because I want it. I want it now. I see this even all the time with my clients. It's interesting where they don't really recognize what's happening sometimes if it doesn't happen immediately. So there are cases where we do a session and it's like instant, like they have knee pain and it's instantly gone, or they have an emotional issue and it's instantly gone. And sometimes, because of the way that our emotions and our stresses build up, it sometimes takes a little bit of time to uncover them and sort of digging, in the sand till we find what we're looking for. So maybe it takes a couple sessions or whatnot. So sometimes when my clients want to see that instant change and it doesn't happen immediately, they overlook a whole bunch of other cool things that are happening. So maybe they come to me and they're like, I'm here to make $1 million. Super. And so we're working on abundance. We're working on making $1 million. And then they come back in 7 days and they're like, well, I didn't make $1 million during the week. Okay, cool. But they'll say something like, but something weird happened. And I'm like, okay, right? Because this is how it works. You're starting down the path. You're starting to get a little taste of the pie. You're starting to understand that things are happening. So you might not have got $1 million this week, but you'll say something like, I had this really crazy, just out of the blue opportunity happen. And I'm like, okay, there it is. Like you're changing your energy, you're changing things that you're attracting. It doesn't always come exactly how we plan it out. And that's why sometimes change can be difficult because we start blaming ourselves, or if we don't get into this when we're in this mindset where we need this instant gratification and we don't see that instant thing happening, especially with things like diet and exercise, we want to see it happen right away. And it's not going to, right? You're not going to go on a diet today and wake up in the morning. If you've lost any weight, it's probably going to be out of water. It's not going to be that you had this magical overnight thing where you suddenly just shed the pounds. And so then we don't see it. And then we start questioning ourselves and we're like, oh, I must be doing this wrong. Or you start blaming other people. Well, if it wasn't for so and so creating all this stress for me, then I would be able to be successful. If my kids weren't stressing me out, I wouldn't be running around yelling at everybody. Because sometimes that's what we're focused on, is we're like, oh, I want to be more patient. I want to be more love, peace, happiness centered. I don't want to run around my house yelling at everybody. And then it's like, well, if my kid wouldn't have painted on the wall, with their finger paints, then I wouldn't be a raging maniac right now. And so we like to blame stuff on situations or other people. So then we're like, oh, it isn't working. I don't have time for this because everybody's making me take them to soccer practice and dancing and wrestling or whatever. Or, maybe I want to be kinder. Maybe I want to be more sympathetic. Maybe I want to be more open minded and understanding. And then I'll do something, or I'll go, you know, be in a situation with someone and sometimes I don't know if this is like a common term, roll me under the bus. If you don't know what that means, basically it means that you are in a good spot with someone and then they sort of do something where literally rolls you under the bus, and that means that they take advantage of you, they do something really shady, sometimes to make themselves look better, to put themselves on top, and so basically it's being trampled on. And then you're like, well, you catch yourself gossiping about them because so and so did this to me. I can't believe this happened. And you're talking to Nancy and you're like, can you believe this? Jamie did this to me and I can't believe it. Blah 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 blah. And if Jamie wouldn't have done this to me, then I wouldn't be talking to Nancy and I wouldn't be gossiping. But I'm not really gossiping because I'm just telling her exactly what happened, right? But we're getting into this negative energy cycle, and then we're using justification for why we're doing it. And it's just yucky, 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 messy. And so we don't want to do that. But what happens is, in that situation, the anger, the frustration starts to raise. And so we go back to the space that we were most comfortable in. And we return to our old self, even though that's where we told ourselves we don't want to go, that's just the space that it feels comfortable in. Nothing will ever change in life unless you do, because things aren't just going to magically happen for you, right? Without making some change. You also cannot change anything else but yourself. So that's another frustration, is if you are relying on trying to get someone else to do something so that you can be happy, well, you're never going to be happy. And I talked about this last week, like setting up your expectations. Like, do you have expectations for someone to do something? Because if you do, you're probably going to be let down and they're not going to change. So I like to say too, one of the reasons why it can be a really sticky mess for me when I go to change is, okay, so number one, I'm trying to change. I'm not getting instant gratification, so I'm getting frustrated. Two, it's not working out for me because I keep going back to the space that I'm comfortable. And then I expect kind of, things are going to change, but they're not, because I have to be the change to make the change, but it doesn't feel comfortable. And, I'm frustrated because I want that instant gratification. So then here's like the real catcher. This is when the real hook comes in. And maybe I've gotten into the space where I am blaming other people or, woe is me. But then I step back into my old self. I step back into where I'm comfortable. And then I start judging myself. And then the self negativity comes and the negative talk. And then I'm beating myself up because why is it that every time I go on a diet, I can never be successful? Why is it that every time I try to do XYZ, I'm failing at it, right? And so I step back and I instead of looking at like, why am I here? What do I need to learn? I just start into the negativeness of it all. And then what do you think that does? The next time I go to do something, do you think that subconsciously I even want to try? No, because I'm now setting myself up for, well, that was fun because what did I do? I decided that I was going to change. It didn't happen fast enough, so I didn't get any self gratification out of it. So that didn't feel good. So then I wanted to be in a comfortable space. So I fell back into the way that I was before. And then I just kind of like look for change to happen because I don't want to make it happen because it's so uncomfortable. And I'm focusing on the lack, like the lack of what I am. And now I'm judging myself and I'm talking critical. And do you see that really yucky cycle? And so then we just get stuck in this place because I don't want to feel like that. And it's not happening fast enough. So it's just easier to sit back and not worry about it. And you know what? Last time I tried to change, it was really ugly and I made a mess of it and I'm a failure. And so blah, 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 blah. And then it just goes into this big justification of why you shouldn't do it, why it's not working, yada, yada, yada. Okay. So a couple of things that I want you to do is, if you really need instant gratification for stuff, then create some instant gratification for yourself. So let's say that I really want to work on, let's just do an example. Okay, so I have this super cute calendar right here. Okay, super cute calendar right here. And I print this out. So this is where I start writing down all the stuff that I'm going to do for the month. This is business wise. So like my Monday Soul Deliciousness, right? I'm going to write down and sometimes I don't even know the topics or what they're going to be because I sort of wait until until something sort of resonates with me and I'm like, ooh, this is what we need to talk about. But I know, like, I'm going to block out my time on Monday nights. I know that's what I'm doing, right? I have a Soul Center practitioner group. That's my group for my practitioners. And so their trainings that I do for them are on Saturdays. So I'm going to start blocking this. I'm going to fill this whole thing out. And then I have certain commitments that it's like, oh, because I'm all about giving out free resources, right? Free resources. Remember, by the way, if you're just hopping on, just because I like being able to, winner, lobster dinner. Subscribe, comment, share, and tag friends. So YouTube is the place to be as far as making sure you don't miss anything. So if you're not getting the live notifications or whatever, the videos go on YouTube. So you can find them. They don't get hidden when I start posting my thousands of memes. So you can subscribe to Honest Sassy Mama on YouTube. If you want to start winning some swag, because I have a bunch of swag coming, hopefully it will be here tomorrow. I'm going to start giving away swag weekly again. So for those of you that have been following me for a long time, you know I love to give away socks, not socks that I've worn. They're clean. I'm going to give away things from Nature Sunshine, which is the company that's local to me that I absolutely love. So you can subscribe to my YouTube, comment on one of my videos, share whichever one you want, and then tag me in it so I know that you did it and you can win the super deliciousness. So anyways, I love to give away freebies. So I'm going to post like, hey, you know, this is a resource I'm going to put out. I'm going to create a file for how to detox your liver or something. And then I put like where I want to go. So maybe I'm having issues where like I'm writing this all down, but I'm not really committing to it. And then what happens, right? It gets to the end of the month. And every time I do this, I'm like, well, I didn't even stick to anything I did. I haphazardly posted all over the place. My business feels like a hot mess express. And I do this cyclic every month, right? Anyone? So stop yourself and be like, okay, yo, self, like, I don't want to do this anymore. We need to get this under control. So give yourself some gratification. Like, I treat myself like I am the small, beautiful inner child that I am. And I encourage you to do the same. So let's say that on Wednesday, I have written down that I need to make a post on Instagram and I'm going to do a TikTok. And I'm also going to, I don't know, make a blog post or something. So this is all business oriented. And I'm going to say to myself, okay, these are my 3 non-negotiable items that I have to do for my business today. And at the end of the day, when I have completed my 3 non-negotiable items, then like a small child, I reward myself with something. I will say, you know what? You get 15 minutes of complete quiet time to read. You know, get your spouse on board or your kids on board and, you know, tell your kids, okay, I get 15 minutes that I get to do this. And so this is the rule. You get to leave me alone and I get to do this, whatever that is for you. Just make it small, but make it something that you enjoy. Because if you make it too big, like if I say to myself, oh, I get to watch a full hour of my favorite TV show uninterrupted, chances of that happening are pretty much nothingness. And so don't reward yourself with something that's not achievable. Even if it's something like little, I do things where I have like specific lotions that I love and I will use like a certain lotion. I'll say, okay, I love this lotion so much. If you get your 3 non-negotiable items done, then this is the lotion you can use tomorrow. So I do little things like that, right? I have specific lotions that are like, oh, these are my special favorite lotions, and you can only use them for special occasions when you get your non-negotiables. I'm seriously, treat yourself like you literally are a child at age 4. It works really well because your subconscious responds so beautifully to little teeny tiny things because as a kid, that's what your parents did, where they were like, oh, I'll reward you with this. That's why we get into bad spaces with eating, right? Is because we get rewarded by eating. If you do really well, you can have dessert. And then we teach ourselves, oh, if I do really well, then I can have dessert, and dessert is a reward. And it kind of creates this, sort of block. But nonetheless, so that's how you can get instant gratification from a change. Because if I take this and I fill it all out and then I'm like, okay, I want to see the change in my business and I'm looking at it after 30 days, that can be really overwhelming, right? It's no different than if I were to take all the weight that I lost through keto And I were to look at it, and I mean, really, I was one of those like not the norms. And it took me almost 2 months before I lost any weight, where other people would do keto and lose a ton of weight in like 3 days. And I just kept sticking with it because it was making me feel so much better. But if I were to look at my weight loss on my keto and I looked at it in little tiny segments, like every 3 days, it looks like I did nothing. Right. But if I look at my weight loss over 6 months, or I look at my weight loss over, you know, 2 years, it's humongous. So change the perspective of how you're looking at stuff so that you are um not noticing, not noticing. Because sometimes depending on what it is, it's so big over such a huge amount of time that you may not notice it. Like I was working with a client the other day and I hadn't worked with her for months. And she was like, "Hey, I just want to come and do a session. I want to just do a tune up, blah, blah, blah." Yeah. Okay, cool. And so I was like, "Well, how have you been?" And she started telling me, and I'm like, "Well, weren't you supposed to have surgery last time we were talking?" And she's like, "Yep." And I said, "Okay, so what happened with that?" She's like, "Oh, I didn't ever need it." But it wasn't really registering with her, right? That was a change that had come from her sessions because it happened a little bit gradually over time to the point where she didn't need surgery anymore. And I was like, "Oh, that's so cool." But it happened very, very gradually. So sometimes because we want that instant gratification, we're just not noticing what's happening right now in the moment, which is why I really also am so huge on like gratification. Like, what are you finding gratitude for? What are you grateful for now in this moment right now? Because that gets you into this now space, which is the key to being able to manifest everything you want, is because you got to look at it right now. Right now in this moment, I am healthy. I am amazing. I am full of abundance. I am successful. Because if I word that differently, what's where people get manifestation wrong. And they're like, "I am successful when I will be successful when I graduate from this class." You just told yourself that you will not be successful till you graduate from the class. Well, how are you supposed to be successful during the class? Especially if your class is requiring you to do some coursework or whatever. You're setting yourself up for failure by telling yourself, "I will not be successful." So I see this all the time. What about somebody that's like, maybe this holiday is not their cup of tea, and they're like, "Oh, I'll be happy when Christmas is over. I'll be happy when," I mean, I could do this one because this is the time of the year where I do okay through December, and then it's like all of that ends. And I feel like January through March, there's nothingness, right? And I live in a place where it's super cold. We get really bad inversions from clouds, and I just like the fog sets in our valley and it's yuck. And then if it snows, everything's dirty looking after, it gets pushed off to the side of the road. It's just yucky. And so I catch myself, I have to manifest in the moment not to say things like, "I'll be happy when it's spring. I'll be happy when it's warm. I'll be happy when January is over. I'll be happy when March is over. I'll be happy, whatever." Because then what do? I verify with myself, like, "Hey, you're miserable. You're miserable until spring comes. You're miserable until the sun comes back out. You're miserable until whatever." So I have to find things that I'm happy for every day in those now moments. I'm happy for, and I pick the silliest, goofiest little things because your subconscious doesn't care if it's $100 bill or if you are just happy to have, I don't know, I shared this earlier. You're just like, "Oh, I'm happy because I found this cute little notebook at TJ Maxx for $3 and it's just so cute. And I'm so happy now because I get to make my to-do list in this little thing," whatever, whatever. I'm happy. I'm happy now because I found this little tiny pop socket that has The Nightmare Before Christmas on it. And my Alice in Wonderland pop socket is getting really worn out. So sweet. I'm happy today because I have an Alice in Wonderland pop socket. It doesn't have to be materialistic and be something simple. Like, I'm happy today because I'm having pasta for dinner. I'm happy today because I'm having, oh, this is funny. Because I'm using one of my favorite mugs. Okay, joke with me for a second because you know, guys, I'm all about sarcastic humor. It's one side or the other. So I have this really cool mug. Okay, so it was just it was oh, thank you, Lisa. It was Halloween, right? And so I had all of my Halloween stuff out, which you may have noticed that the decor changed as I moved Christmas out and put all of my happiness back. So I had this really cool mug and I was like, oh, a poison mug. And I recognized and I was like, ooh, that's not really a Rae Dunn piece. And so sometimes I buy mugs and then I use um, vinyl, right? I buy vinyl that people sell that's in the same font as Rae Dunn, and then I can cheat the system and make my own stuff. So every once in a while, I do that, especially with like black mugs. And so I realized when I was putting this one away, I was like, oh, that is vinyl. And then I turned it around, and this is what the other side said. And I was like, oh, doesn't this fit me perfectly? You know, I can either be which person would you like today, kids? Would you like mom or would you like poison? Which would you prefer, right? So depending on how I'm feeling, then I can have the mom mug or I can have the poison mug, whichever my perspective is. I can't even remember why I'm talking about this, but finding just fun things. So maybe my gratitude today is I get to have my favorite beverage in my super fun cup, mom and poison. And it's just a little giggle to me that reminds me that, I am very well rounded like that. So finding that gratitude. Okay. So that's what I'm going to leave you with today. Don't forget lots of free resources I have posted in here. You can hop into my Facebook group. I love just to help people, honestly. So you can take advantage of that. And then let's recap quick. So why can't I change? Make sure you're not looking for that entitlement. I need gratification right now in the moment, guys. Change takes some time. It takes some time. So give yourself a little leeway. Like look at the little teeny small things that are happening instead of looking for that gigantic, miracle to happen at the end of the week. So put it into some perspective. Taking some steps, rewarding yourself. So giving yourself some gratification during the day. So recognizing little steps that you're making. Treat yourself like you're 4. Okay, good job. You read, the first sentence without making any mistakes. You did so good. I mean, really, that's how your subconscious works. And then, take it into a perspective that makes sense for you so that when you do get to the end goal, or when you do get to 12 months from now. I did this with my business the other day. I was like, oh, like a memory post came up and I was like, what? And then I realized, wow, that was only a year. That was a year ago. And I started looking at my business and I was like, wow, if I compare where I am today, where I was back then, it seems like I've made huge progress. But if I were to look at my business today in the moment now and just compare it to, really whatever, it doesn't seem like I've really done anything. And so it's changing your perspective. It's looking at things differently so that you can understand that change is happening and not getting frustrated with yourself. Do not talk down to yourself. Do not judge. If stuff isn't working, don't beat yourself up. Just step back and be like, okay, what can I learn from this? What can I do differently? Why do I think that didn't work? Because you actually know. And ask yourself, okay, what do I need to do differently this time so that I don't have the same result as before? And then don't beat yourself up and do not get into the mindset of, well, last time I did this. Well, last time I did this. Well, last time I did this. There is always a last time for everything, even for people that are really successful. People that are a recovering addict, there was a last time for them. There was a last time that I binged eat. There was a last time, whatever. There's a last time for every bad habit or thing that you're trying to do. So don't be like, well, I tried this 100 times. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how many times you tried. There is no right or wrong, like how many times you tried. Okay. So don't judge yourself. All right, guys. Love you so much. Have a beautiful rest of your Monday.